Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We're diving into self-love today.
Ooh, self-love.
Now, not the typical,
Ugh.
bubble baths and face masks kind of
Oh,
self-love.
right.
We're going deeper.
Okay.
We're going, deep, deep.
Right.
And exploring a really unique perspective
Okay.
from Apostle Israel Aloja's Mindful Minutes podcast episode called You Need Self-Love, No One Does It Better Than You.
Love the title.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's catchy.
And he has this really intriguing take on self-love,
Okay.
presenting it as like a divine mandate.
Interesting.
So have you ever felt that pull
Yeah.
between wanting to prioritize your own needs,
Oh, yeah.
but then feeling guilty or selfish about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like we're constantly bombarded with these messages about putting others first,
Right. Yeah.
And it makes it really hard to figure out where our own needs even fit into that whole picture.
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting about Apostle Loja's argument, because what he's saying is that true self-love,
Mm-hmm.
it's not about ego or neglecting others.
Right.
It's about recognizing that you are inherently worthy of care just because you exist.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
And he defines it as acknowledging your worth as God's creation
Okay.
and taking responsibility for the life that you've been given.
Wow. That's powerful.
I know, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is how he connects self-love
Yeah.
to this idea of stewardship.
Interesting.
It's not just about indulging yourself.
Right.
It's about tending to your needs
Okay.
so that you can fully show up in the world.
I see.
And he uses this really powerful analogy to kind of illustrate this point.
Okay, I'm listening.
Think about putting on your own oxygen mask
Oh, yeah.
on a plane before helping others.
That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's such a vivid image
Yeah.
that you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
If you're running on fumes, you're not going to be much help to anyone,
Exactly.
including yourself. And neglecting self-love,
Mm-hmm.
as Apostle Loja points out, can actually lead to resentment and exhaustion.
Oh, for sure.
If we're constantly giving without replenishing ourselves,
Yeah.
we just end up depleted and unable to give our best to anything or anyone.
Makes sense.
So it's not about becoming self-absorbed.
Right.
It's about making sure you're in a good place to love and support others authentically.
I like that. Yeah.
Now, Apostle Loja is coming at this from a faith-based perspective.
Okay.
And he even pulls from Matthew 22.39,
Mm-hmm.
love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
But even if you're not religious,
Yeah.
the message still resonates.
Yeah.
Loving yourself is part of the equation.
For sure. For sure. And this actually leads perfectly into something I think a lot of people struggle with,
Yeah.
which are the common misconceptions about self-love.
Right. Like the
Oh,
whole
and-
self-love is selfish thing.
It's selfish. We've all heard that one before.
Totally.
Right.
Like all the time.
And Apostle Loja tackles this head on.
He points out that even Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
who is often seen as like the ultimate example of selflessness,
Yeah.
took time for himself,
Yeah.
withdrawing to pray and rest.
You did.
So it's about finding that balance between
Oh.
tending to your own needs
Mm-hmm.
and giving to others.
Yeah. I see. That makes sense.
And what about that nagging feeling of unworthiness that so
Right.
many people experience?
Oh, yeah. That I don't deserve self-love voice.
Yeah,
That's a hard one to get rid of.
it really is.
Yeah.
And this is where I think Apostle Loja's perspective offers a really powerful antidote.
Okay. What's that?
He reminds us that Christ's sacrifice proves our inherent worthiness.
Okay.
We don't have to earn it.
Right.
We already are worthy.
Wow. That's a powerful message.
I know it's incredible, right?
It really is.
It speaks to the core of who we are.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see that self-love is crucial,
Yeah.
not just for our own well-being,
Mm,
but for our relationships
right.
and our ability to show up in the world.
For sure. But how do we actually do it?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
How do we put it into practice?
Yeah. How do we actually cultivate self-love?
Well, Apostle Loja outlines 5 specific steps
Okay.
to cultivate self-love,
5 steps.
and they're all about making it a daily practice.
Gotcha. So like a daily routine kind of thing.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear what they are.
Yeah, me too.
So what's the first one?
So the first one is all about starting your day with intention.
Okay.
And he suggests using daily affirmations.
Daily affirmation.
But these aren't just any feel-good phrases.
Right.
He suggests using statements that are rooted in faith,
Okay.
like I am enough,
Mm-hmm.
which comes from Philippians 4.13.
I see.
I can see how starting your day with that kind of affirmation
Yeah.
could set a really powerful tone.
Yeah, it'd be like a conscious choice to focus on your inherent worth from the moment you wake up.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about actively combating that negative self-talk
Right.
that can easily creep in
Yeah, yeah.
and replacing it with this message of self-acceptance and love.
Totally. And even if someone isn't religious,
Right.
the idea of starting your day with a positive affirmation
Yeah,
could be really powerful.
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got daily affirmations as our first step.
Okay, step one.
What's the next practice that Apostle Aloysius recommends?
Okay, what's number 2?
So the second step is incorporating what he calls sacred pauses into your day.
Sacred pauses.
Yeah.
What's that?
I love that term.
It sounds very intentional.
It does.
Yeah.
It's about creating space
Okay.
for stillness and reflection
Mm,
amidst the busiest of life.
I like that. Yeah, but how does that actually look?
Right.
Like, how do you make time for that when you're so busy?
Well, it's not always easy,
Yeah,
but Apostle Aloysius suggests dedicating just 10 minutes
10 minutes.
each day for prayer or quiet reflection.
Okay, so not a huge amount of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this huge chunk of time,
Yeah.
but the key is to make it a consistent practice.
Okay, so 10 minutes a day. What if someone's not comfortable with prayer, though?
Right.
Like, are there other things they can do?
Yet, there are tons of ways to approach this.
Okay.
It could be as simple as like stepping away from your desk
Mm-hmm.
for a 5-minute walk in nature,
Okay.
listening to a calming piece of music,
Yeah.
or doing like a short guided meditation.
Mm-hmm.
The point is to just disconnect from the external noise
Yeah.
and reconnect with yourself.
Okay, I like that. And it doesn't have to be about escaping reality or anything. It's just about taking a minute to recharge so that you can come back and be more focused.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like giving yourself permission to just be
Yes.
without any expectations
Yeah.
or pressure to do.
Yeah. I love that.
Okay, so we've got daily affirmations. We've got sacred pauses.
Yes.
What's the third step
I'm ready.
on this journey of cultivating self-love?
What is it?
So the third step focuses on forgiveness. And this can be a tough one
Ooh, yeah.
for a lot of people.
Especially when it comes to forgiving yourself.
Yes, especially forgiving ourselves.
Yeah,
There's often a lot of guilt and shame tied up in it.
for sure.
But Apostle Aloysius emphasizes the importance of letting go of past mistakes
Okay.
and embracing God's daily renewal.
So like a fresh start every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He reminds us that God's mercies are new every morning,
Mm-hmm.
quoting Lamentations 3.2223.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that we're not defined by our past.
It's so powerful.
It really is.
But letting go can be really hard.
It can be so difficult.
Yeah.
But what I find helpful about Apostle Aloysius' approach is that he doesn't just say, forgive yourself
Right.
and leave it at that.
Yeah.
He connects it to this idea of God's constant grace
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity for a fresh start each day.
I see.
So even if someone isn't coming from a religious perspective,
Right.
the idea of letting go of the past
Yeah.
and embracing a fresh start resonates.
It does.
Yeah, we all make mistakes,
We do.
but we don't have to be defined by them.
Totally.
Forgiveness, both of ourselves and of others,
Mhm.
is a crucial part of self-love.
It is.
Okay, we've covered daily affirmations,
Yep.
sacred pauses,
Uh-huh.
and forgiveness.
Yes.
What's the fourth step
Give it to me.
that Apostle Aloysius recommends?
I'm ready.
So the fourth step is all about taking care of your physical well-being.
Oh, okay.
It's about nourishing your body
Mm-hmm.
with healthy food,
Yeah.
movement,
Okay.
and enough rest.
So that's where the classic self-care comes in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Apostle Aloysius reminds us that our bodies are temples,
Mm-hmm.
referencing 1 Corinthians 6.1920,
Okay.
and that taking care of our physical health is an act of self-love.
It's true. But how do we make time for all that
Right.
when life is so busy?
It's not about adding a ton of new things to your to-do list.
Okay.
It's about finding small, sustainable ways
Mm-hmm.
to incorporate nourishing practices into your daily routine.
Got it.
Maybe it's swapping out that sugary afternoon snack for a piece of fruit,
Yeah.
or taking a 15-minute walk during your lunch break.
Yeah, those are good.
It's about finding those little pockets of time
Right.
where you can prioritize your physical well-being
Yeah.
without feeling like you're adding more stress to your life.
I like that.
This is all making so much sense.
It really is.
Okay, last but not least,
Okay.
what is the fifth step
Hit me with it.
on Apostle Aloysius' path to cultivating self-love?
I'm ready.
So the fifth and final step is keeping a gratitude journal.
Oh, a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
I've heard of those.
So this is about actively shifting your focus
Okay.
to the positive
Yeah.
and specifically what you appreciate about yourself.
About yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
He recommends writing down 3 things you love about yourself every single day.
Wow, that's a good idea.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's easy to get so caught up in our flaws.
Right.
Yeah, so this is a good way to counteract that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it could be anything.
Really?
Yeah, like from appreciating your sense of humor
Okay.
to acknowledging your resilience in the face of challenges.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing and celebrating
Mm-hmm.
your strengths,
Yeah,
your unique qualities,
right.
the things that make you you.
Totally. But some people might think that focusing on gratitude every day feels a bit forced.
Right.
Like, how do you make it authentic?
So it's not about pretending to be happy all the time
Okay.
or ignoring the challenges.
Yeah.
It's about choosing to shift your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
even just for a few minutes each day,
Okay.
to appreciate what you do have
Right.
and what you love about yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like building a
It's
muscle
a muscle.
of self-love.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you practice gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
the stronger that muscle becomes.
I like that analogy.
Right.
It is like working out.
And what's so great about these 5 steps is that they're all doable,
Yeah.
even for the busiest person.
So you're saying anyone can do this?
Yeah. It's about making self-love a priority,
Mm.
not another item on your to-do list.
Right.
And what I appreciate about Apostle Loja's approach is that he doesn't just present these steps
Yeah.
and then leave you hanging.
Right.
He emphasizes that consistency is key
It's all about consistency.
in all of this.
Yeah.
It's about making self-love a practice, not a destination.
He actually used a really great metaphor in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he compared us to a garden.
Okay.
And without care,
Mm-hmm.
weeds just choke the life out of it.
Oh, yeah.
But with daily tending,
Yeah.
it blossoms.
Right?
And we are that garden.
Oh, I love that.
And self-love is the tending.
It's an ongoing process
Yeah,
of nurturing and cultivating our inner selves.
I love that.
It's not about reaching some perfect state of self-love
Right.
and then being done with it.
It's a journey.
Right?
Yeah.
It's about showing up for ourselves
Mm-hmm.
day after day,
Day after day.
even when we don't feel like it. Now, this next part is pretty cool.
Okay.
Apostle Aloja actually leads a guided affirmation in his episode.
Oh, wow.
You ready to recreate that for our listeners?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay, listener,
Okay, everyone.
if you're up for it,
Yeah.
close your eyes
Close them.
and repeat this affirmation after us.
We're going to do it together.
I am God's masterpiece.
I am God's
Okay.
masterpiece.
I choose to love myself today.
I choose to love myself today.
Take a moment to let that sink in.
Let it sink in.
How does that make you feel?
For me, it's just a really powerful reminder of my inherent worth.
Yeah.
It evokes a sense of peace and acceptance.
I agree. It's incredibly grounding,
Yeah.
even if you don't resonate with the religious aspect of it.
Yeah.
The message of self-acceptance
Right.
and choosing to love yourself.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It's a good one.
We've covered a lot of ground in this first part
Yeah, we have.
of our deep dive into self-love.
A lot of information.
We've explored the concept of self-love as a divine mandate.
We did.
We debunked some common myths.
Yep.
And started to unpack those 5 practical steps that Apostle Aloja outlines.
And there's still more to come.
There is.
So stay tuned for part 2.
We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
We're back.
We're continuing our exploration of self-love
Yes.
with Apostle Aloja's insightful guidance.
Mhm.
We've already unpacked so much
Yeah.
about what self-love really is
Yeah.
and why it's so crucial.
So important.
Even debunked some common myths
Yes, we did.
along the way.
Those are fun.
Right. But now I'm really curious to dig into the how.
Yes. The how.
Like, how do we actually do it?
That's what I'm thinking about too.
Yeah.
We've established that self-love is this like foundational piece for our
Right.
well-being,
Totally.
but it's not always easy to put into practice,
No, it's not.
especially when life gets hectic.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Those 5 steps from Apostle Aloja give us a framework,
Okay.
but how do we actually weave those practices into our daily lives?
That's the big question.
That is the question.
Yeah.
And one thing that really stood out to me in Apostle Aloja's episode
Yeah.
was his emphasis on intentionality.
Intentionality.
Yeah, he's not just saying like, think positive thoughts and you'll be fine.
Right.
He's talking about a deliberate and mindful approach to self-love.
I see.
It's about making a conscious choice
Yeah.
to prioritize ourselves.
Okay. So it's a choice.
It is.
Right to make.
And it's easy to get caught up in the idea that self-care is all about like bubble baths and spa days,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
which can feel indulgent or unattainable for many people.
Totally.
But what Apostle Aloja is presenting is something much deeper.
I see. So it's more than just pampering yourself.
Way more.
Okay.
It's about integrating those 5 steps. Daily affirmations,
Yep.
sacred pauses,
Uh-huh.
forgiveness nourishing the body, and gratitude journaling
All 5.
into our lives in a way that feels authentic and sustainable.
That makes sense.
And remember those sacred pauses we talked about.
Yeah, those are interesting.
Aloja suggests scheduling just 10 minutes each day for prayer or quiet reflection.
10 minutes.
I'm curious, how do you personally approach this practice?
Well, I'll be honest, finding that quiet time can be a challenge for me too.
Oh, for sure.
But what I found helpful is to think about it as a meeting with myself.
Oh,
Something I wouldn't cancel on someone else.
Right.
So I actually schedule it into my day.
you put it in your calendar.
I do.
Wow.
Just like any other important appointment.
I love that.
Sometimes it's first thing in the morning before the day gets away from me.
Yeah,
Other times it's like a midday walk to clear my head.
that's a good idea.
It's about being flexible and finding what works for you.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about honoring that commitment to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that you deserve that time and space to recharge.
You do.
And even if you can't commit to a full 10 minutes every day,
Right?
starting with even a few minutes can make a difference.
Totally. It's all about building that habit.
So true. So now I'm curious about how self-love impacts our relationships with others.
Ooh, relationship.
Do you think there's a connection there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think Apostle Aloja would agree that self-love is the foundation for
Mhm.
healthy relationships.
Mhm.
When we love and respect ourselves,
Yes.
we're better equipped to set boundaries,
Yeah.
communicate our needs,
Yes.
and show up authentically in our relationships.
This makes so much sense.
It does.
If we're constantly seeking validation and approval from others,
Right.
we're likely to end up in relationships that are draining and unfulfilling.
Oh, for sure.
We might even find ourselves putting up with things we shouldn't
Yeah,
because we don't believe we deserve better.
that's true.
And self-love empowers us to choose relationships
Right.
that are mutually supportive and respectful.
Yes, and it gives us the strength to walk away
Yes.
from relationships that are toxic or harmful.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
It's important.
It's such an important point.
Yeah.
Self-love isn't just about feeling good about yourself.
No.
It's also about protecting yourself
Yes.
from negativity and harm.
It's about knowing your worth
Mm-hmm.
and refusing to settle for less than you deserve.
Yes.
And it's about having the courage to say no when
Mm.
something doesn't align with your value.
Or your well-being.
Yeah,
It really feels like self-love is a key ingredient
is.
for living a fulfilling and authentic life.
I couldn't agree more.
It's about embracing our wholeness, flaws, and all,
Yeah.
and choosing to treat ourselves with kindness and compassion.
I love that this conversation is making me think about a time when I was really struggling with
Yeah.
self-doubt.
Yeah.
I was in a job that was just draining me,
Oh, no.
but I was afraid to leave
Why?
because I didn't think I was good enough to find something better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
It's easy to fall into that trap,
it is.
especially when we're surrounded by messages that tell us we need to be more, do more, achieve more.
Right, like you're not enough yet.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
But eventually I realized that staying in that situation
Yeah,
was actually harming my self-worth.
that makes sense.
So I took a leap of faith and left,
Good for you.
even though it was scary.
It must have been.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I ended up finding a job that I loved,
That's great.
a job that actually nurtured my soul instead of depleting it.
That's awesome.
That's such a powerful example of how self-love can empower us to make choices that are in our best interest,
Great.
even when those choices are difficult.
Even when they're hard.
It was a turning point for me.
I bet.
It made me realize that self-love isn't just about pampering yourself.
Right.
It's about having the courage to honor your needs
Yes.
and create a life that truly reflects your values.
I love that Apostle Aloja's message is so inspiring
It is.
because he reminds us that we are inherently worthy of love
Mhm.
simply because we exist.
Just as we are.
Yeah, and he also challenges us to take action,
Yes.
to make self-love a priority in our lives.
Make it a priority.
Even if it's just one small step at a time.
One step at a time.
Out of curiosity, what's your biggest takeaway from Apostle Aloja's episode?
What resonated with me the most?
Yeah,
For me, it's the reminder that self-love is a journey,
a journey,
not a destination.
not a destination.
It's about showing up for ourselves every day,
Every day.
even when we don't feel like it.
Yeah, those are the hard days.
Those are the tough ones.
Yeah.
And it's about being gentle with ourselves along the way.
Being kind to yourself.
It's not about being perfect at self-love.
No.
It's about making the effort,
Yeah.
even on the tough
This
days.
is when it's hard.
And it's about recognizing that self-love is a process
There's a process.
of growth and discovery.
Okay.
It's about learning what works for you,
Yeah.
what nourishes your soul,
Uh-huh.
and what helps you feel more connected to yourself.
That's beautiful.
I think that's a great point to transition into the next part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We've talked about the what
The what?
and the why of self-love,
The what?
and we've even touched on some of the practical steps.
Right.
But now I'm ready to get even more hands-on.
Me too. Join us in part 3
Yeah,
as we delve deeper into practical strategies and tools
I love it.
for cultivating self-love in our daily lives.
Yes.
We'll break down those 5 steps even further
Love it.
and explore how you can start incorporating them into your routine today.
Can't wait.
Oh,
Welcome back to The Deep Dive.
we're back.
It's been quite a journey
It has
exploring self-love.
self-love.
It's been fascinating to unpack not only what it means,
Yeah.
but also how it can be so much more than just surface-level pampering.
Right. Like we've been saying, it's more than bubble baths.
So much more.
Yeah. We've really delved into Apostle Elijah's perspective.
We have.
Those 5 powerful steps he outlined.
Yes.
And how self-love really ripples outwards,
It does.
impacting everything from our personal well-being to
Yes.
our relationships with others.
Absolutely. And now it's
Yeah.
time to get even more practical.
I'm ready.
We've got those 5 steps.
Okay.
Daily affirmations,
Uh-huh.
sacred pauses,
Yes.
forgiveness,
Mhm.
nourishing the body,
Okay.
and gratitude journaling
Got them all.
as our roadmap.
A road map.
So let's roll up our sleeves
That's right.
and dig into how we can actually put these into practice.
Yes. Let's get practical.
In our daily lives, what do you say?
Let's do it.
And I think it's important to remember that these are tools, not rules.
Right. They're not set in stone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Apostle Elijah offers them as a framework,
Mm-hmm.
but the beauty is you can adapt them
Yes.
to fit your own individual needs and preferences.
I love that you said that.
Yeah.
It's about finding what works for you,
Right.
what feels authentic and sustainable in your own life.
Exactly.
So let's start with daily affirmations.
Okay.
We talked about how Apostle Elijah suggests starting the day
Uh-huh.
with affirmations like, I am enough,
That's a good one.
which is rooted in Philippians 4.13.
Yes. But what if someone isn't religious?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So the core principle here is about intentionally choosing thoughts
Okay.
that align with your inherent worthiness.
Inherent worthiness.
Yeah, so even if you're not drawing from Scripture,
Okay.
you can still create affirmations that resonate with you.
Like what?
Maybe it's something as simple as,
Okay.
I am worthy of love,
Okay.
or I am capable of achieving my goals.
Those are good ones.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about finding those phrases that feel empowering and uplifting to you.
Absolutely. And it doesn't have to be limited to the morning either, right?
Well, not at all.
Like you could do them throughout the day.
Yeah, you could write them on sticky notes and place them around your house.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Set reminders on your phone.
Yeah.
Or even just repeat them silently to yourself
Okay.
throughout the day whenever you need a little boost.
I like that it's about making a conscious effort
Mm-hmm.
to counter that negative self-talk
Yes.
that can so easily creep in
It does.
and replace it with messages of self-acceptance and love.
Okay, so we've got daily affirmations covered.
Check.
Now let's talk about those sacred pauses.
Sacred pauses.
I'm a big fan of this concept,
Me too. But it's hard
but it can be tough
to find that quiet time.
to find that quiet time.
Yeah, in our busy lives.
Do you have any tips for making this practice more accessible?
I think the key is to release the pressure
Okay.
of having to create these long, elaborate rituals.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Apostle Elijah suggests just 10 minutes a day?
Just 10 minutes.
Could you find 10 minutes somewhere in your day
Yeah.
to step away from the noise and reconnect with yourself?
I think most of us could if we really prioritize it.
Yeah, and I love that you emphasized releasing the pressure. It's
Yeah.
not about having the perfect meditation cushion
Right.
or finding a secluded spot in nature.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
No, it's about finding little pockets of stillness wherever you are.
Exactly. Maybe it's taking a few deep breaths while you're waiting in line at the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
Or listening to a calming song on your commute.
I like that.
It's about being present in your body,
Yeah.
even for a few moments,
Just a few.
and just noticing your breath, your surroundings, your senses.
That's nice.
I've actually started incorporating a phone-free hour into my evenings.
Oh, wow.
I put my phone on airplane mode
Good for you.
and just focus on reading, taking a bath,
Okay.
or spending quality time with my loved ones.
That sounds really relaxing.
It's amazing how much more relaxed and present I feel
Yeah.
when I intentionally disconnect from technology for a while.
It's like a digital detox.
It really is.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
This can be a really challenging one,
Oh, yeah.
especially when it comes to forgiving ourselves.
Forgiving yourself is so hard.
It is.
Yeah. How do we even start?
So how can we approach this practice
Yeah.
in a way that feels gentle and compassionate?
That's what we need.
So I think it starts with acknowledging that we're all human
We are.
and we all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
It's part of the human experience.
It is, but holding on to those mistakes,
Yeah,
dwelling on the past.
it just keeps us stuck.
It does.
But sometimes it feels like those past hurts
Yeah,
have a way of clinging to us,
they do.
even when we try to let them go.
It's hard to let go.
They really do. And I think that's where self-compassion comes in.
Self-compassion.
Instead of beating yourself up for past
Yeah,
mistakes,
right.
imagine talking to a dear friend
Okay.
who was going through the same thing.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would tell them it's okay
Right.
to not be okay.
Would you offer them words of kindness and understanding?
Of course I would.
It's so much easier to be compassionate toward others
It is.
than it is to be compassionate toward ourselves.
So true.
So try extending that same kindness and understanding
Okay.
to yourself.
To myself.
Recognize that you were doing the best you could
Yeah,
with the knowledge and resources you had at the time.
right. You didn't know any better.
And remember that forgiveness is a process, not a destination.
That's important.
It might take time, and that's okay.
That's okay.
I love that you framed it that way.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off
Takes the pressure off.
of having to achieve some perfect state of forgiveness overnight.
We're not perfect.
No.
And sometimes forgiveness isn't about condoning the action. It's about releasing the negative energy
Yeah,
that's
sure.
holding you back from moving forward.
All right, let's talk about nourishing the body.
Okay.
Nourishing the body.
This one seems pretty straightforward. It does. Eating healthy food,
Yeah.
getting enough sleep,
Mm.
moving our bodies.
The basics.
But sometimes even those basic things
I know.
can feel overwhelming.
It can be overwhelming.
It's easy to get caught up in the shoulds.
with shoulds.
I should be eating more vegetables.
Yeah.
I should be working out more.
I should be getting 8 hours of sleep.
I should be getting 8 hours of sleep.
It's a lot of shoulds.
This is a lot of shoulds. Yeah, but that kind of thinking can actually lead to more stress and guilt.
It can.
So how do we shift that mindset?
Yeah. How do we approach nourishing our bodies in a way that feels good and sustainable?
I think it starts with focusing on what feels good in your body.
Okay.
What foods give you energy and make you feel vibrant?
That's a good question.
What kind of movement brings you joy?
Yeah.
What helps you relax and unwind before bed?
I love that approach.
Yeah.
It's about tuning in to your body's wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and honoring what it needs.
Your body knows.
And it's about finding those small, simple ways
Small, simple ways.
to incorporate nourishing practices into your daily routine.
Right, like we were saying before.
Maybe it's swapping out that sugary soda
Oh, yeah.
for a glass of water,
That's a good one.
or taking a 15-minute walk during your lunch break.
I like that.
It doesn't have to be complicated
No.
or time-consuming.
Nope.
Small changes made consistently over time
Yeah,
can have a big impact on your overall well-being.
I agree. And remember, nourishing your body is an act of self-love.
It is.
It's about treating yourself with kindness and respect
Absolutely.
by making choices that support your physical health and vitality.
And finally, let's talk about the gratitude journal.
The gratitude journal.
This one always intrigues me
It is a good one.
because it seems so simple,
Yeah.
yet it can be so powerful.
Simple but powerful.
What are your thoughts on this practice?
I'm a big fan of gratitude journaling.
Yeah.
It's such a simple way to shift your perspective
Okay.
and focus on the positive aspects of your life,
The positive.
including what you appreciate about yourself.
It's so easy to get caught up in negative self-talk,
Oh, it's so easy.
focusing on our perceived flaws and shortcomings.
We're our own worst critics.
We are.
Yeah, this practice feels like a way to actively counteract that negativity.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be a long, drawn-out process.
Right.
Apostle Aloysius suggests writing down just 3 things
3 things.
you love about yourself each day.
You got it, and it could be anything, right?
It could be anything.
From appreciating your sense of humor
Mm-hmm.
to acknowledging your resilience in the face of challenges.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing and celebrating
Celebrating.
your strengths,
Uh-huh.
your unique qualities,
Yes.
the things that make you you.
You got it. And the more you practice this,
Yeah.
the easier it becomes to notice and appreciate the good in yourself.
It's like building a muscle
A muscle.
of self-appreciation.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
The more you exercise that muscle,
Mm-hmm.
the stronger it becomes.
You got it.
That strength will radiate outwards,
It will.
impacting all areas of your life.
I love that we've covered so much ground
We have,
in this deep dive into self-love.
from exploring its deeper meaning
Right.
to breaking down those 5 practical steps.
We did it.
Feels like we've only scratched the surface.
We just scratched the surface.
But I hope this conversation has inspired you
I hope so too.
to think about self-love in a new way.
In a new way.
It's not a luxury.
It's not.
It's a necessity.
It is.
It's the foundation
the foundation.
for a fulfilling and authentic life.
I agree. And it's a journey, not a destination.
It is a journey,
It's about showing up for yourself each day.
showing up every day.
Making those small choices
The small choices.
that nourish your mind, body, and soul.
And as we wrap up,
Yes.
we leave you with a challenge.
The challenge.
What small act of self-love will you commit to today?
What will you do?
Maybe it's trying one of those 5 steps we discussed,
Yeah.
speaking kindly to yourself,
Be kind to yourself.
or simply taking a few deep breaths
Yeah.
and acknowledging your worth.
You are worthy.
Every act of self-love,
Every act,
no matter how small,
big or small.
is a step towards living a more joyful and fulfilling life.
That's what we want.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into self-love.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you next time.